welcome to Nitro Up North. It is a fantastic to be here at the opening round of the 400 Thunder Series for this new championship season. The first round of racing is not too far away. I'm going to welcome my co-commentator for the day, Rob Oberg, to the microphone. And Rob, this promises to be one hell of a spectacular event.
Oh, there's no question about that. Nitro Up North is always the highlight of the season up here. But for us, it's the start of a whole new season. And that's what it's all about, because all of these guys are on 0 points and it starts again.
We're going to switch from 4 wheels to 2 because, of course, we've got 2 championship brackets here this weekend in the 400 Thunder Series. Pro Slammer we've spoken about already, but Top Bike as well. Small field this weekend, but it's a quality field. And Chris Matheson, 5-time national champ now, won the championship last year and put in some spectacular performances in the process.
Well, Top Bike is one of these categories that's ebbed and waned for competitor numbers, but the quality has been there. But you have to say that Chris Matheson was the class of the field from start to finish. And what he did was he went through the Winternationals and the championship was wrapped up, but he didn't take it easy. He set the quickest time of the year, right at there, just to rub it in, 6.08.
A 6.08, it was the quickest pass of the year, and I guess it shows the kind of potential that this motorcycle has. We keep talking about the first 5-second run in Top Bike. It is certainly on the table, and this is just a glimpse of what this motorcycle is capable of.
And he shuts it off early. The bike is very difficult to stop, so he always clicks it off at about 300 metres, rolls the last 100 metres, and still 6.08. That 5-second could come. He showed the potential here in testing already. Jay Upton's here. I mean, it's going to be a great start for Top Bike.
And we keep talking about that 5-second potential. There might be a little bit more urgency in it now for Chris Matheson now that Jay Upton's here, because we have seen some spectacular performances out of him over the last season while he's been testing, ramping up for his return to the 400 Thunder Series this year.
There's no question about that. Jay Upton was the guy we always tipped to be the first to run the 5. Then Arthur Williams turned up from New Zealand. We thought he'd do it. There's talk that he's coming back as well. I think for Chris Matheson to be the first into the 5s, he's going to have to really start to think about getting it on the board as soon as he can.
Well, in addition to our 2 championship categories this weekend that are opening their championship accounts, we've also got a very special Top Fuel exhibition, and this is putting a little bit more nitro into the Nitro Up North. It will be featuring our brand new Top Fuel champion, Kelly Betts, the first ever female professional series champion in Australian drag racing. Incredible performance last year.
Well, she did her first Top Fuel racing here at the Nitro Up North last year in a match race. She went on, it came down to the Winternationals. The battle between Damien Harris and her was so close, and it resulted in a semi-final. If Kelly Betts could beat Wayne Newby from the Rapasada Autosport International team, she would become the first female ever to win a professional category in Australia of any sort, and it was dramatic.
And it wasn't just the emotion from Kelly Betts, it was the emotion from team owner Phil Lamartina on the start line. It really meant a lot to that entire team to get over the top of what they've had to deal with over the last couple of years, of course, with Phil's well-storied crash up at Willowbank at the Winternationals a few years before.
But what a tale. I mean, here we had this young woman, this amazing young woman that started in junior dragster, won an Australian championship in junior dragster, at the time was the youngest ever national champion. She moved into the sportsman category and won a championship at modified, the first ever female to do that. And then to break through, live the dream, do it in Top Fuel, and amazing pictures that we saw as well.
Let's have a look at the recap of the Top Bike Championship, the way they finished the season. Chris Matheson completely dominating the points there, 300 points clear of Mark Drew. Adam Layton in 3rd spot, Chris Porter in 4th spot, Benny Stevens rounding out the top 5. Rusty caught up in the pits with our new defending champion, Chris Matheson, before racing.
Chris, it's not your first championship, but obviously a very satisfying one to take home the big trophy last year.
Yeah, actually number 5, so we're pretty happy about that. But that's ancient history. We've got a new season, our first round now, so we've really got to buckle down and start from the bottom and work our way up again.
New challenger as well, or a new old challenger, we should say, with Jay Upton coming back into the class, and that's a bike that can certainly run with you. We've seen some very promising early numbers from him. Does that change the way you go about your racing?
Not really. It's good to have Jay back, another bike in the field, particularly a fast bike. Jay's got a lot of experience. He's an old dog. So he knows how to play the game. So we'll have to be on our guard with Jay, because he's a wily old fox, and he's got the nuts and bolts to do it too. So, but we'll still go about our same thing, same routine, just try and get down there as quickly as we can.
Here we go at Hidden Valley Dragway in Darwin, the Northern Territory, for Nitro Up North. Special guests on the start line, ready for this first round of Top Bike for the 400 Thunder Australian Championship. These nitromethane burning motorcycles, always wild to watch. Here is Jay Upton from Western Australia, and Mark Allen, it's fantastic to see Jay back on the track.
This is probably one of the most exciting things to see for the 400 Thunder Top Bike Championship this season. Jay Upton, can he take to the man Chris Matheson? You know what, he completely dominated last season. I think Jay Upton could be the guy to really upset things for Chris Matheson this season.
Yeah, I've got an idea that you'll find that Jay Upton will probably run a lot more of the 400 Thunder Championship this year. I know he's keen. It's tough from the west to do it all the way from Perth when most of the rounds on the east coast of Australia. But Jay Upton will be taking on Les Holden. Now, this is where you see big differences, because Jay Upton, with a 4-cylinder supercharged fuel-injected nitromethane burning monster, and Les Holden V-twin 120 cubic inch Harley Davidson based bike, no supercharger, but he's still running the nitromethane fuel. It's fuel injected.
Yeah, the good old nitro, where anything can happen. Les Holden going through his burnout procedure here. You know, I think all eyes will probably be on that other side of the track. Jay Upton, you know, a lot of history in Top Bike, still chasing that elusive 5-second barrier here.
Yeah, we can't rule out Les Holden, that's for sure, because we know how temperamental these top fuel bikes are. And Les is fairly consistent, so Jay Upton, he can't afford to take things easy, because if he has any sort of problem, Les Holden's the sort of guy that will just run around him.
You're exactly right, Rob, but in this race it's going to be all the way Jay Upton, 6.54 seconds. Welcome back to Top Bike here at the 400 Thunder Series. Jay Upton gets a win in round one, 262 kilometres per hour, Rob.
Yeah, Les Holden came out nicely. He had a good 7.78 seconds, but man, that bike of Jay Upton's just had way too much.
He was off the throttle early as well in this pass. Those half-track incrementals were pretty quick.
He was getting towards the centre line there, so I don't think he had much choice but to get off the throttle. Well, it's been a long tow for both of these guys. Rusty Gregory's caught up with Doug Green.
Absolutely, down here with Doug Green from Jay Upton's crew. And Doug, looked like it had a cylinder out pretty early on in the run, and it was sort of moving the bike around a little bit down there.
Yeah, definitely. We've just done a bit of work around the fuel system, and yeah, last night we tried to find our way a bit. We're still finding it, but it looked good, it was promising, and yeah, we just need to play around a bit now and clean that last cylinder up, and yeah, we're here to go fast this weekend and put a show on for the crowd, so yeah.
Considering how early he was off it, that is a pretty impressive run, 6.56 in the heat.
Yeah, definitely. He was fighting it, as you said. We managed to keep it in the groove. We're still trying to find the track, so yeah, that's very good to start with. Once the air comes in a bit later on, and yeah, put a bit more fuel into it, and yeah, we'll have a crack at it, I reckon.
Wry smile from Doug Green and the Jay Upton crew. I got more nitro coming your way. Chris Matheson taking on Tony Wood.
Well, Jay Upton has set the early benchmark. Here is Chris Matheson with the #1 on the Nitro Voodoo bike. Similar to Upton, we're talking 4 cylinders, supercharged, fuel injected, nitromethane fuel. They're the exhaust pipes exiting just behind Matho's seat. Taking on Tony Wood on another one of the Harleys.
Yeah, Chris Matheson, we did see that 6.54 from Upton. What can our defending champion bring to the table here on this pass at Hidden Valley Dragway up the Northern Territory? You know, we've seen him run into that 6-0 zone at the towards the end of the season.
Not good news. It looks like Tony Wood has not been able to fire that bike. They are pushing back. Well, Matheson will get a win. That'll be a solo pass for him, but well, small field up here for the Nitro Up North with Top Bike. Unfortunately, some of the Southerners and Western Australians weren't able to make the tow. And now Chris Matheson will get to run on his own. He doesn't have to worry about anyone in the other lane. He can have a shot at this.
He can, and you know what? It gets him the 20 points for the win. He can take his time now on the bike with the staging routine, just make sure everything is absolutely perfect, and hopefully, I think his target now is obviously to get the bonus points for ET, and obviously that would be lane choice in round 2.
Yeah, we're running the 3-round all-run system, so it's all about points to get into the championship final, but also to build up championship points on your tally that carry right across the season.
He gets out pretty strong. It looks like a good solid pass. Looks like he's lost power there just at half track. The bike will roll through for an 8.79 second pass, so he gets the win, doesn't pick up many bonus points at all because that was the 3rd quickest ET of the round. We'll look at the replay, Robert. Look, he got off strong, mixed up a cylinder there. You could just see at the back, the bike started to squiggle around on him. He did the right thing, buttoned her off, and we'll see him back out in round 2.
Yeah, the rear of the bike really was moving around. He had no one to beat, so he'll be satisfied, I guess, with the 20 points for the win and 6 points for 3rd quickest ET. We'll see how they line up when they all front back for round 2. I love these onboard shots, though.
Yeah, they're great shots. These guys really, if just rolling, you can see the speed that he's travelling at on that bike. They're just nuts.
They definitely have to be brave. A little crazy probably helps as well. Jay Upton gets maximum points with 28. Chris Matheson with a win and 6 bonus points will be 26. Les Holden on 12. Tony Wood, well, he just gets his 5 points for being there.
Yeah, by my calculations, that means Upton and Matheson will face off in round 2.
Well, all the fans here at Hidden Valley Dragway in Darwin are in for a real treat now. We are moving into Top Fuel match race. New Australian champ Kelly Betts to take on Anthony Begley. These Top Fuel cars, the most amazing vehicles on earth. Rusty Gregory's down on the start line with some special guests.
We have got Top Fuel in the water box. They're just about to fire these things up, and I'm down here with Crystal. And Crystal, your first time seeing Top Fuel, do you know what to expect?
Yeah, lots of sore eyes, sore ears, and lots of fast cars, and yeah, I'm pretty excited.
All right, I'm going to check in with you after this pass and get your thoughts on exactly what Top Fuel's all about. I'll give you a hint, it's going to be fun.
Rusty Gregory has a sadistic streak sometimes, I think, because if you haven't heard Top Fuel before, and then you're going to stand right beside them on the start line, you are in for one hell of a surprise, that is for sure. Well, what about this team, the Lamatinas? They picked a girl from relative obscurity, put her in the car, and she's done a brilliant job, Mark, to win the championship and come back here to Darwin, the site of her first appearance in Top Fuel.
That it is, Kelly Betts. It really is a remarkable story for this team and Kelly as well. What happened last season, they absolutely dominated that second portion of the season for the 400 Thunder Top Fuel Championship. Rookie driver, just did well above expectations. Taking on Anthony Begley here. It is an exhibition race. It is match racing, these guys. First time out for the season for the Top Fuel cars. It isn't for points, but it is about some data collection as well.
And it's for the crowd. It's for the fans. Now, Begley's a very experienced driver. Not only in Top Fuel dragsters, but nitro funny cars. You name it, he can steer it. But Kelly Betts, well, this is just 12 months since she made her Top Fuel debut here at the Nitro Up North last year. And a little bit different. Our 400 Thunder Championship Top Fuel runs over 1,000 foot, 300 metres, let's call it. Here in Darwin, non-championship match race, they're running the full quarter mile, 400 metres. And, well, potentially the opportunity to run Australia's quickest ever quarter mile pass.
Well, that's it. Well, we know the Rapisada team have got that quickest ET in the 4.4 second zone. The potential's there because we know Kelly running those 3.80 second laps times over 1,000 foot. That equates to 440 passes.
These cars are idle and noisy. When they stand on the throttle, I know our guest is going to be all shook up. Kelly Betts smoking the tyres and a bit more there towards the finish line. Begley had to get out of it a little bit early, Mark.
Yeah, 5.17 for Kelly Betts.
But it might have gone boom, Rusty.
could be costly. Certainly went pop at the top end of the racetrack there, mate. I'm down here with Crystal, and Crystal, you are no longer a Top Fuel rookie. I can't repeat exactly what you said, but try and describe what you just experienced.
I said beep and beep, oh holy beep. Oh my God, that was insane.
Is it anything like any other motorsport or anything you've ever seen before?
I've got goosebumps.
I think the earth moved for her too, guys.
I think she's beeping explained that quite well.
I never get sick of seeing those sorts of reactions from our first timers. If you haven't been to a Top Fuel drag race meet, you need to get one. Get off the seat, stop watching your screen, get out to the next event. If it's a Sydney Dragway, Willowbank Raceway, you look at these replays, Rob.
A lot of smoke there, but yeah, I don't know. Let's ride on board with Kelly Betts across the Hidden Valley, 400 metres. Yeah, off it early. Most of that smoke's out of the pipes. Probably all good. We're going to see that car back later on up against Anthony Begley. Stay with us. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to Hidden Valley Dragway in Darwin. We are here for the 400 Thunder Top Bike Championship Round 1. Plenty of action in the first round. Jay Upton, Chris Matheson really are going to be going at it.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that matchup in round 2. Chris Matheson to take on Jay Upton. Upton ran that great 654 pass. Matheson not quite as quick. Rusty, you're down in the pits.
Guys, down here in the Chris Matheson Nitro Voodoo pit area, and solo pass in that first round, unfortunately with the wood bike unable to fire, but it didn't go the way you were hoping, Chris Matheson.
Yeah, well, stuff happens. We just didn't have enough power in it, to be honest with you, so we put a bit more in it, and we'll go out and have another run and see if we can get it to get going again.
And you said you shut it off. Obviously, you were on a solo pass. You didn't have to push it to get it to the finish line. I guess that's the luxury when something goes wrong for your opponent, but it's not the way you want to get a win.
No, we really try to go as quick as we can every pass, but you've got to be a little bit smart. Otherwise, if you use up all your ammunition, you won't get to the end. So I knew it was a solo, so when it got out, it started to get a bit of a power boat happening, which means it hasn't got enough power. It's not getting up on the back tyre, and if it doesn't get up on the back tyre, it's like riding on a beanbag, so it's just a big bucket of soft stuff. So there's no point persevering with it. If we had someone in the other lane, we would, because you've got to get to the end and win, but sometimes you just got to they turn off the same way they turn off. Sometimes you just got to turn them off. So
let's talk through the performance that we saw from you at the Winternationals, the last round of last year's championship. Obviously, you already had the championship wrapped up, so it didn't really mean anything as far as having to go out there and score points. You did lay down a 6:08, which was the quickest run of the season. How are you building on that for the new season? Obviously, it's a bit of a different condition that you see up here at Darwin compared to Willowbank and the Winternationals. But is that 6:08 something you can build on for the new season?
Yeah, for sure. Sort of through the season, you build, you try new things. We try new things pretty much every pass. You can go back to your old data and look at it, but we're always trying to step forward. It's the conditions up here are a bit more humid. We've run where it's hot before, so we've just got to fine tune it to get it right. And they're pretty fickle to get them exactly right. But I think it'll come to life this time because we've put some power in it, which we've had no power over the last couple of days. We've just been trying to get down the track, get a bit of information, match the tyre, the clutch to the track. So hopefully we've rolled the dice the right way and it starts to come alive, which I'm sure it will.
What a great crowd here at Hidden Valley. They love their motorsport, they love their drag racing, that is for sure. We've got round 2 of Top Bike. Coming up right now, there's championship points at stake for the 400 Thunder Australian title. Here's Les Holden about to step onto his V-twin Harley Davidson. Will be running alone, unfortunately. Tony Wood, with problems with that bike, has had to withdraw. So Les Holden will pick up a win here, but I'm sure he's going to be trying to run quicker than that 7:78 he ran in round 1.
Yeah, what makes things really interesting here, Les didn't pick up a win in round 1, but he gets the win here in round 2. He picked up bonus points in round 1. Now just follow here with me. The other pairing in Top Bike, both those guys have got 1 win each, so that no matter what happens, we're going to have 2 bike riders with 1 win, 1 loss. The bonus points are going to come into play for the finalist.
And, I mean, it's going to be important for Les to try and run quick enough to outpace Chris Matheson here. If he does, well, I think he's going to be in a very good spot to go into the championship final. A real score one for the underdog, that would be. Look at him work the body language on that bike to keep it in the centre of the lane.
7.68 seconds for Les Holden. It's consistent, 270 kilometres per hour. He gets the win. He's got an ET on the board. Tell you what, he's looking good.
He improves by 1/10 of a second. So, it comes down to just what happens between Matheson and Upton. But Les Holden, he's had 2 good, solid passes. And can it underpower start to finish? You can't ask for any more than that.
Exactly. He's given himself the best chance, best opportunity, you can say, for that championship final. It's going to be an interesting race with Upton and Matheson. If it wasn't exciting as it was already, there's implications.
It's great to watch how much the riders do with their body, shifting the weight around on these bikes with big square rear tyres. They're not like a conventional motorcycle where you lean the way you want to go. You virtually have to use your body weight like a sidecar.
Yeah, these bikes are something absolutely incredible. It's a brave man that gets on the back of these and tries to, I don't know, you don't steer them, obviously, you're right. It's these guys on these bikes.
Well, here's the scenario. If Jay Upton wins this race, he'll have 2 from 2, and it will certainly be one of the major finalists. If Chris Matheson wins the race, well, he'll have 2 from 2.
Yeah, well, you can.
But the loser of this race really needs to run quicker than Les Holden to guarantee himself a spot in the final. So
that's basically what it comes down to. Winner goes through to the final.
The loser can if they run quicker than Les Holden's 7:68.
Spot on, Rob. Who told us that we'd be doing maths here? All right, Chris Matheson, Jay Upton. This is the race that we've all been waiting for. It's happened here in round 2 of Top Bike.
Great to see 2 of these real high horsepower cycles back out there. Now we're talking probably 1,800, maybe even 2,000 horsepower on 2 wheels.
And they probably weigh, actually, I'm not too sure how much they weigh, 600, 800 kilos.
They're heavy for bikes, that is for sure. And Chris Matheson uses his body weight to good effect on this bike, shifting it around to try and keep it in the centre of the lane, even when the front wheel is dangling in the air on a wheel stand.
It's Nitro Knight take on Nitro Voodoo. Matheson with a pedal.
He was on and off the throttle, but Jay Upton rides it to about 300 metres, rolls off the throttle and still runs a solid 6.90 at only 278 kilometres an hour. 7-1 for Chris Matheson.
That should be enough to put him into the final. We know Upton's going to be there because he got the win. I think it's going to be an Upton-Matheson final in Top Bike. But have a look at the replay, Rob. These bikes, you can see Matheson get out on him. He has to pedal. Upton starts to streak away, then his flames go out. Matheson starts coming back at him.
Have a look at this as we ride along with Chris Matheson. You saw the exhaust flame on, off as he was rolling on and off the throttle.
Drag racing's easy. Just point it and shoot, right? Doug Green. That was insane. A pedal fest in Top Bike, and you get the win just.
You know what? That's what we wanted to do. We wanted to come up and have some fun. that's fun. That was pretty cool. Eh? We know these guys over there, they bring their A game. Everyone knows the race is on. We're going for it, eh? We're here to go fast.
There's so much more left in that motorcycle as well. You know, a 690, that's a long way from what we know that bike can do. The first 5-second run's on the table. The race is on between you and Chris Matheson. Who do you think's going to do it?
Oh, look, they're completely different bikes, to be honest. Ours is a custom deal, like Chris is from the States, and he's done a whole lot of work. It's pretty much down to the day when we're ready to do it, and whoever's ready, and it all comes together. Chris give it a good nudge at Willowbank. We just had a new guy come on board, Grant, to help us out with some sponsorship to make us do some more rounds. So we're really going to start stepping up and having a good crack at it, eh?
Well, mate, best of luck for the rest of the rounds. I think we're not too far away from getting into top fuel here at Nitro Up North, guys.
We certainly will, but before then, let's confirm things. Jay Upton on maximum points goes into the final. Matheson and Holden equal, but Matheson gets the tie-break advantage by having the quicker time in round 2. So it will be Upton versus Matheson to decide who gets a 400 Thunder Gold Christmas tree here in Darwin.
Now we move into top fuel racing, nitro methane, supercharged dragsters coming forward. It will be Kelly Betts to take on Anthony Begley here. Betts getting the win in round 1 of racing. Begley looking to get one back on the championship.
Look at that camera mounted on the roll cage, looking towards the big injection that sucks in the air, mixes it with litres and litres and litres of nitromethane compressed in the supercharger, and that's where their 10,000 horsepower comes from.
I love the name on the side of Begley's dragster, Chemical Warfare.
It's all about that chemical reaction that nitromethane undergoes when it burns. It separates and produces extra oxygen. That allows you to put in more fuel because you've got the oxygen to burn it, which releases more oxygen so you can put in more fuel. And it makes more and more horsepower until it blows to pieces.
That's exactly it. Don't you love nitro racing?
Do you notice here, quite short burnouts? They're not going far up the racetrack, and Kelly Betts is reversing back quite quickly to get to the start line. I'm gonna speculate here. These cars now race over 1,000 feet, 300 metres, all the time in America and here. Betts's is a US spec car. I reckon they're saving fuel to make sure that they've still got it, because normally they don't go under power that last 100 metres of the quarter mile.
I think you could be right there, Rob, because everything in top fuel dragster racing is measured to the millimetre. It doesn't matter if it's parts in the race car, the fuel, so forth, everything.
Well, Kelly Betts left of screen, Anthony Begley in the yellow, and Kelly has done a drive job off the start line, but she can't get traction. Begley can for a while, and Begley will get it.
Begley gets a win back on Kelly Betts here, 587, 325 kilometres per hour. It was a huge hole shot to Betts, but Begley, he was the better of the drivers in this situation. He got the car to recover. He got to the finish line first. It's 1-1.
Have a look at this for Begley. On, off the throttle, you saw the butterfly. Then he's feathering it, on and off. He absolutely feathered that throttle to try and get it on down there.
Great shots from Begley's car. I think we're on board here with Kelly. You can see Begley streaking away.
Yeah, Kelly tried to get it hooked up again, but it just started to smoke the tyres for a second time.
Yeah, great shots there. You can see Kelly get that whole shot really visible there.
Tell you
Begley.
what, I'll eat my words. That wasn't tyre smoke, that was shake. That was violent tyre shake for Kelly Betts.
Yeah, I think you were right there, Rob.
So make sure you stay with us on 400 Thunder Championship Drag Racing. We'll be bringing you all of that straight after this short break. Darwin at Hidden Valley Dragway for 400 Thunders Top Bike Championship Round 1. We've got a big final coming up, Chris Matheson and Jay Upton. But in Top Fuel, it's all locked together. Kelly Betts won, Anthony Begley won. So both of them very important deciders here. There may not be any championship points at stake in Top Fuel, but I can tell you this, Rusty Gregory's keeping a very close eye on those cars.
Indeed I am, mate. I'm down here with Kelly Betts, and a big part of Nitro Up North is, well, Nitro. And Top Fuel is here. Kelly, not exactly having the night you wanted, the car not playing the game.
Yeah, not at the moment. The first run we had a bit of an electrical problem, which meant essentially the car lost its tune-up at about 1.4 seconds. So that's why it was a bit of a slug down there, and I ended up lifting early. That one then, violent tyre shake. So we had plenty of power on board, just couldn't put it to the track. So we're going to tackle the next one a little bit differently. We want to go out with a bang.
Not literally. Tyre shake's not a lot of fun. You know, you look at it from the outside, you might think that the car just sort of shuts off, but when you're a driver inside these cars, try and describe it. Try and put it into words.
That one rattled me good. It's hard to describe. I mean, it totally shook my foot off the pedal in the end. But yeah, it just gives your body a really good shake-up. Like, it's hard to describe the intensity of it, but I mean, there's drivers in the past that have had, retinas detached from things and, teeth broken from it, and that's why we wear mouth guards. So it can be pretty violent in the body, and there's no doubt I'm feeling it after that one.
Now let's go back to happier times. Obviously the Winternationals won the championship up there. Super emotional for everybody involved, but to do it in your first season with this team, how special is that?
Yeah, it was unreal, and my interview at the bottom end was a bit of a mess with some tears and stuff, but it's still unbelievable in my mind, and I still look back at the run and, the OVO footage from it still makes me smile and almost cry now. So it's just an absolute dream come true, and for the first season with the team, we couldn't have asked for a better result.
Now, next question, last question, looking up at the wing. You still got the 85 up there. You haven't got the number 1 on there yet. Will it be going up?
100%. We just literally didn't have time between now and the winters to get the car up here. So pretty much once it gets back from Darwin, it's getting a whole new livery put on it, and it's going to have the number 1. So we'll wear it proudly.
Awesome. Well done. Good luck in for the rest of the night up here. Hopefully you can put on a show for these Darwin fans.
Yeah, we should be good for the next one, so be one to watch.
Kelly Betts, what a fantastic ambassador for the sport of drag racing, and just proving dreams can come true. Well, Jay Upton, I reckon, will be dreaming of a 400 Thunder gold Christmas tree if he can win this final.
Yeah, it's going to be a great race in the final, Jay Upton and Matheson. Upton's probably got the ET advantage at the moment.
Down here in Jay Upton's pit area, they've just actually fired the motorcycle up, and I've got to say it all sounds pretty healthy. Going over the graphs at the moment, I do want to try and grab a quick word with Jay if we can. I know he's a very busy man, and this is a very, very technical operation down here. I will just jump in and try and interrupt him ever so slightly. Jay, mate, I don't want to interrupt you too much here, mate. I know you're a busy man, but into the final round, taking on Chris Matheson in the final, mate.
Yeah, we are. It seems a bit of a funny race. We've got to race them twice and beat them twice, I hope, but we'll see what we can get done here.
That's the idea, but all things considered, you return to the championship series here. It seems to be going well. The bike doing what you're expecting it to?
Yeah, we've been a little bit off the pace, and obviously tonight we're not running exactly like we'd expect to, but Darwin's a little bit different weather-wise, and we just trying to find a baseline to be more reliable and run longer laps, if you know what I mean, or not longer as in time, but longer as in distance. So we used to run a lot of short laps and be very fast, and now we're trying to calm down a little bit and run a whole lap and then go faster.
Well, mate, best of luck for the final round. We'll let you get back to it. You look like a busy man.
We are. We're in a bit of a hurry, but we'll be there.
Final time in Top Bike for 400 Thunder here at Hidden Valley Dragway in Darwin. Massive crowd in the house. A big thank you to Motorsport NT for all their support of the Nitro North event. Jay Upton to take on Chris Matheson. Really the two giants of top bike at the moment.
I think you're right there, Rob. Like Chris Matheson last season, we spoke about it earlier, he did really dominate the season. None of those other teams were really up to that same performance that he was throughout the year. Some of the Harley guys were going, 650s, 640s, but Matheson running 6.0, 6.1s, half a second advantage there. Jay Upton, I think he can really bring it to the team. And we've got a replay here on screen of something that just happened moments earlier, Rob.
Yeah, Les Holden was due to run a solo pass on his third round run, but in the burnout, the bike is just locked up instantly. So he's clearly not going anywhere except backwards on this occasion. So
maybe not even backwards. It looks like they're struggling to push it off there at all. It looks like it's going to be the old lift-up job there to get it off track.
Took a couple of minutes, but we got the track clear, and now it is Chris Matheson on the Nitro Voodoo to take on Jay Upton at East versus West.
That it is. Here we go.
Matheson from Brisbane, and of course Jay Upton from Western Australia.
Chris Matheson, the defending, reigning 400 Thunder champion. These guys raced in round 2. Jay Upton got the win. We're on board with him here doing the burnout. Can he make it 2 from 2 over the champion of Matheson? Or Matheson, can he get one back here and make it 1-1 for the night and take home the Christmas tree for the 400 Thunder Championship? Get some points on board and start the season off the way he finished it.
Well, the most important thing to do in this 3-round all-run system is get enough points to get into the final. Even if someone like Jay Upton beats you in round 2, as long as you make the final, you can take it out. You win that one, you get the gold Christmas tree, and you get a big swag of championship points.
Which is what it's all about, It's like a springboard to the season. If you start off well, it always seems a bit easier than chasing someone down. It's better to be chased, I think.
Well, so far you couldn't start any more well than Jay Upton. He's on maximum points from the first 2 rounds. Let's see whether he can clean up by taking out this final. Chris Matheson is always hard to beat, but Jay Upton, he's been in great form here at Hidden Valley.
He hasn't run a pass out of the 6-second zone yet tonight. Matheson a little bit out of form, you could say. We don't usually see that from this team.
I think he struggled with the conditions here. Very hot, humid.
Very rarely do you see Matheson lose 2 rounds of racing in a row.
You'll see it this time. Matheson and also, very close to the centre line for Jay Upton. I thought Matheson was going to get it back.
6:51, Jay Upton takes the win. Maximum points, that's how you start off a championship. Wow, look at the replay here on board with Matheson. It just, lost power quite early there in the run. You see Upton streaking away.
But have a look here. You see the flame go out for Matheson, but keep an eye on the White Knight. He got very close to the centre line. If he'd touched that centre line, he's instantly disqualified on safety grounds, and the win would have been handed across to Chris Matheson.
Well, you can see the bike of Upton was going straight towards the centre line. He stayed into it as long as he could. 6.51 seconds. That's the low ET of the event as well.
Let's ride along with him. He didn't know where Matheson was. He couldn't risk shutting off. That was a fantastic ride, Rusty.
Absolutely, mate. Down here with Jay Upton, mate. Congratulations. 6:54 in the final round, taking away maximum points for the weekend, and you're the championship leader.
Oh, that's not a bad start. I wish we would have gone a little quicker, but we had a last-minute drama between rounds. I think you saw when you came in the garage, we were a little bit frantic. We had some issues, and we seem to have gotten over them. We've got a pretty good crew that works together. So for Specialised Equipment Express, who helped us come up here to Darwin for this race, I'm very proud to have them on board as a sponsor. For our fantastic crew and for all the people at Nitro Up North, fantastic event. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, mate. Enjoy it and enjoy the championship lead.
Thank you, I will.
Jay Upton, the perfect start to the championship. Nothing could give him more incentive to go and run the whole season. There he is with a handy break over Chris Matheson. Les Holden got a swag of points. Tony Woods just picked up those few, but they are all ahead of every other one of the top bike competitors that couldn't make it to Darwin. So we get a long championship for 400 Thunder.
It's a late Saturday night, but the crowd is stuck around. We are now into round 3 of our exhibition racing for Top Fuel Dragster. It is Nitro Up North, Nitro Thunder time. Yeah, we got Kelly Betts on screen starting up. She'll be taking on Anthony Begley. It is 1 win apiece for these 2 drivers tonight, Rob.
Well, wouldn't Anthony Begley like to be able to go home from Darwin and say, I beat the Australian champion?
Well, how often have you seen Kelly Betts throughout the previous season not get down the track 2 passes in a row? I couldn't see that happening 3 in a row tonight. Anthony Begley, he's got a race on his hands here.
Well, you know the Matheson team are just absolutely focused on trying to make sure they go home with the quickest pass of the weekend and also the win. 2-1 will do in a match race situation. Because Kelly running for Fuchs and Lamatinas, the carrot farmers from Mildura.
I think we might have a solo pass here, Rob. Begley hasn't fronted by the looks of it here.
Looks to be the case.
Well, we obviously had some issues in the pits for Begley because...
I was waiting for Anthony Begley to come forward in that chemical warfare yellow dragster, but no appearance by him, so it will be a Betts win, but will she get that quickest ET? Can they keep it stuck for a full 400 metres?
That's the goal here. They're that close to getting down this racing surface here at Darwin. We've seen this team run into the mid-4 second zone at well over 500 kilometres per hour. She did it 12 months ago at this very meeting. The Carrot Kings, Kelly Betts.
Staging very carefully, just getting the front wheels into the beams. Looks good. Clicked it early and still runs 473.
415 kilometres per hour, but the ET 4.73 seconds. The team have got it together finally on the final pass of the night. The crowd that stuck around, they got a great pass there from Kelly Betts.
And they've loved it. Drives it to about 300 metres, a little bit past maybe that point, but not all the way, and still runs 4.7 seconds. Great performance.
That was a great pass. I'm not too sure why it clicked off early because it looked like it was stuck. It was going down the track right in the middle there.
I tell you, she was driving. She was slipping around a bit there. I'm not sure it was well stuck to the ground.
I take it back now watching that front-on replay there.
We follow up Top Fuel with a different sort of flamethrower.
Yeah, we do. We've got a jet dragster on screen. We don't get to see these too often. Something special here for the Nitro Up North crowd.
Yeah, Peter DeWitt in this jet dragster relies on thrust for all its motivation. It's a case of trying to make all the thrust you can, all the push you can get out of the afterburner with these cars.
Completely different style of drag car.
They'll spool the engine up using the afterburner pops to increase the thrust, and in the end he'll have 2 feet on a huge brake pedal just trying to hold it on the line. Gotta love the afterburner pops.
Listen to that sweet, sweet sound.
Car alarms going off everywhere in the car park.
You'll notice no one on the start line for a jet dragster.
Yeah, no special guests between the cars and the start line when there's jets around. You'll get your eyebrows singed real fast. Peter DeWitt.
These things reach speeds of 400 kilometres per hour.
He's really spooling him up.
It is the Iron Horse.
Just getting it into the stage beams. The fans love it.
They're spectacular under the lights here.
Tower is shaking as it comes past. Didn't take it all the way and still runs.
305 kilometres per hour. He was the afterburners were off probably just after half track as we watched the replay of the Iron Horse. Peter DeWitt here in the Jet Dragster.
I'm happy just with the fire show before it even gets to the start line. These things are incredible.
That's half the fun of these cars. They're absolutely insane.
Well, 400 Thunder is going to return to Sydney Dragway for the East Coast Thunder, November 2 and 3. We'll be there with our cameras, but get trackside because that's where you'll see Top Fuel, Pro Alcohol, Pro Slammer, all of the categories, including these guys, the top bikes. Well, thank you, Hidden Valley Dragway, for an absolutely awesome weekend of 400 Thunder drag racing. Great win in the championship stakes for Jay Upton. Fantastic action from the Top Fuel cars. The Pro Slammers were magnificent here in Darwin. We're going to be back next year with Nitro Up North, and we can't...